Okay, good morning, friends. Just a short point on Masechta Nedarim, Daf Yud Zayin. The Mishnah said that Yesh Neder b'toich Neder, but ve'ein Shvua b'toich Shvua. What was the case of Yesh Neder b'toich Neder? Somebody says, Harini Nazir im Oichel, Harini Nazir im Oichel. So then basically these two Nezirus somehow are both Chal. Let me pull up the Marmakaimais. The Mishnah said, Yesh Neder b'toich Neder, but ve'ein Shvua b'toich Shvua. Harini Nazir Moichel, Harini Nazir Moichel. I'm a Nazir if I ate, and he eats. He's chayiv for each and every one. Shvua shaloi oichel, shvua shaloi oichel. He's only chayiv once. The way the Ran learns is that he's basically triggering 2 periods of Nezirus, but you're never going to be violating 2 lavim for violating 1 Nezirus period. Not like other Rishonim that in fact the 2 Nezirus are chal at the same time. What it means is he has to observe 1 Nezirus, bring a carbon, and then observe another Nezirus. And the Ran is bothered, what does it mean the neder is chal in a neder? Nothing is chal simultaneously. First 1 period is chal and you observe that, and then another period is chal and you observe that. But nothing is really chal within the other, nothing is chal on top of the other. It's not like there are 2 Yisurim at the same time. So let's read the Ran. The Ran says, V'chayiv al kol achas v'achas. When it says you're chayiv for each and every one, the Amrinan, that we say loymar, it's to teach the chayiv linhoig Nezirus al kol kabbalah v'kabbalah. You have to practice a Nezirus for each acceptance. Doesn't mean literally they're the 2 obligatory periods that are simultaneously chal. What it means is you are obligated to be noiheg Nezirus for each acceptance. V'chi amar hareini nazar, when you say, behold I'm a nazar, behold I'm a nazar, the chayiv shtei Nezirus, you're chayiv 2 Nezirus, umayna shloishim yom, and you count 30 days, umevi carbon, and you bring a carbon, v'choizer mana shloishim yom, and then you count 30 days, umevi carbon, and you bring a carbon. So when it says hareini nazar, that you're chayiv 2, you count 30 days, you bring a carbon, and you count another 30 days and you bring a carbon. V'nafgalan b'Gemara mi nazar lahazar. The Gemara learns this out from nazar lahazar. Why is this called a neder b'toich neder? V'kari le'lahai gavna neder b'toich neder. The reason this is called a neder within a neder, l'fisha Nezirus shnia hi chala b'toich zman harishayna, because the second Nezirus is chal within the time frame of the first. So it's chal. It's just impossible to count it until you count the first one. So Ran's saying something very interesting. It is chal, it's just you can't count it. Why do we have to say it's chal? Because if it was not chal, b'shas nidrai, then how would it be chal later? You're not making the neder later, so it has to be that it's chal right away. Because it's not. If it's not chal right away, how would it be chal later? Since it's not chal now, it would not be chal later. So it has to be that it's chal now. It's just you can't count it. Why? Because if it was not chal at the time you made the neder, how could it be chal later? You're not making a neder then. And if it's not chal now, it wouldn't be chal later. Rather, it's chal now, and that's why it teaches yesh neder b'toich neder. So the Ran is learning that the second period of Nezirus is chal now, it's just you can't count it. So I just want to share with you one potential way to understand this. And this is the approach of Reb Shimon Shkop. By the way, if anybody wants, the next upcoming trip is to Vilna and Radin. This is going to be in May, before Lag Ba'omer. And while we're there, we're going to be at the kever in Grodno, at the kever of Shimon Shkop. He quotes the Ran, that Hainu the Chayla le'inyan zeh tzchal, regarding this comes from the Sefer Ateras. Let me see. Ateres. Let me find it. Ateres Shmuel. And he's going to quote Reb Shimon Shkop. He says, Kazaran the Hadatan Chayva Kalachas Achas. Hainu the Chaylal Inyan Zetzchal regarding this. The Chayv Limnoi Shtei Nezirus. You have to observe and count 2 Nezirus. Aval Bizman Nezirus Rishon at the time of the first Nezirus Im Avar V'Shasa Yayin. If you violated and you drank wine, Einoi Loike Ela Achas. You'll only get Malchus once, right? According to the Ran, other Rishonim disagree. Other Rishonim say no, it's like Chal twice. And if you drink wine, you're over on 2 lavin. But according to the Ran, if you drank wine, you only get Malchus once. Kalaymer Mishum Nezirus Rishayna. V'chulei HaShitas HaTaisus HaRash. This is all the sheet of Taisus and the Rash. V'ayin Lekaman. Look later on. Shaharan Hevi B'Shem Mikzas Mefarshim. V'Shitas HaRamban. Look later on. The Ran brings in the name of some Mefarshim, and that's Ramban, that when it says Chayav HaKalachas V'Achas, it's Kipshutai. That if you ate twice, you're Chayav twice. And that's the sheet of the Ritva. But now we're going to focus on the Ran. The Ran holds, no, you're not over twice, but it's chal now. Just you don't observe it until later. V'tzarch biur, mahu inyan zed chayla mahasha. What is this? What does it mean that it's chal now? So Atara Shmuel quotes Reb Shimon Shkop. He says, Reb Shimon Shkop, and we may have mentioned this in the past, has a unique view on Nezirus. According to Reb Shimon Shkop, Nezirus is not an Isser Gavra, that the person is not allowed to drink wine. And it's not like a neder, an Isser Cheftza, where the wine is usher to the person. So then what in the world is it? If it's not an Isser Gavra, that the person can't drink wine, it's not an Isser Cheftza, that the wine is usher to the person, what is it? Ayin b'chidushe hagon Reb Shimon Shkop, shabir hadavar al pi darkai, bebiur ikar din Nezirus. The inyan Nezirus einoi loy Isser Gavra. Nezirus is not an Isser on the person. V'loy Isser Cheftza, it's not an Isser on the item. Elohu din Kabbalah al atzmai. It's a Kabbalah on oneself. Namely, it's not that I'm prohibited to have the wine, and it's not that the wine is prohibited to me. It's that I accept it upon myself to accord myself with the sanctity of Nezirus. A person accepted upon himself to accord himself with the sanctity of Nezirus. A person accepts this upon himself. The Torah asers you to have wine. So it's not that there's an Isser Cheftza, it's not an Isser Gavra, it's a acceptance of a status, and once you accept that status, the Torah asers you in wine. You could say when you accept upon yourself 2 Nezirus, so then it is chal. What's chal is, your Kabbalah is chal. It's just practically, you can't fulfill it yet. See, if it's an Isser Gavra, one Isser can't be chal in another. If it's an Isser Cheftza, likewise, one Isser can't be chal in another. But if it's I accepted upon myself a responsibility, then they're both chal. Chal alav chiyav limnoi shtei Nezirus. The responsibility is chalami. Ch'may shechayv achshav l'kaim Nezirusai. The same way right now I'm obligated to fulfill my Nezirus because of the first neder. Right now I'm obligated to fulfill my Nezirus because of the second neder. K'may kenu chayv achshav l'kaim Nedarim sheni. So right now it's chal, my Kabbalah is chal, and I am right now obligated to be Mekayim the second neder. The only thing is, there's no way for me to fulfill it. Ela shebapayal yev shelakaimam bizman echad. Practically, there's no way to fulfill it at one time. Al kein tzarich lakaimam b'shnei zman. I have to keep it 2 seconds at 2 separate times. So Reb Shimon Shkop learns that the logic of the Ran, of what is chal now, it's not an Isser Gavra, it's not an Isser Cheftza, it's the Kabbalah, my Kabbalah, to accept, to be noyeg, kedushas Nezirus is chal now. Practically, there's no way to observe it until I first observe the first one. That's how Reb Shimon Shkop understands this Ran. Okay, that's what I got for you today.
So what's the chiluk between being mekabel shtei Nezirus b'bas achas?
shtei Nezirus b'vas achas, then both are simultaneously effective. In other words, then I am able to be Mekayim both of them at the same time. In other words, they're both. The reason why I can't observe the second one is because how could I count another Nezirus when one has already been Chal? But if I accept both simultaneously, then not only is the Kabbalah Chal, but the counting and the observance of it could also be fulfilled simultaneously. Okay, everyone. Have a good day. Be Matzliach. Kol Tov. Kol Tov. Good day.